At a family dinner, my mum made a mockery of my kindness. She said, "I've always known you to be a pathetic child. You can't do anything great. You're no longer my daughter." I kept quiet and walked away. She wasn't ready for the surprise that followed. My name is Emma Webb, and I'm 28 years old. 3 years ago, my family stood outside my small restaurant and told me I was a disgrace. Not because I'd done something illegal, not because I'd hurt anyone, but because I kept feeding a beggar who passed by every day. My sister said I was ruining the family name. My parents said I was too soft, too foolish to understand how the world works. They wanted me to stop. I didn't. For 3 months, I gave him food. Then he disappeared. 5 months later, he came back, but not as a beggar. He arrived in 7 SUVs with a proposal that changed my life and forced my family to confront the one thing they'd never understood about respect. Before I tell you what happened, hit like and subscribe if you're ready to see how this ends. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is there. Let me take you back to the beginning. I've been running a small roadside restaurant for 4 years. It's nothing fancy, just a place where truckers, travelers, and locals stop for a meal. The building sits right beside my family's property, close enough that my parents can see who comes and goes. I work alone most days, cook in the morning, serve through the afternoon, clean up at night. It's hard work, but I like it. I like the simplicity. I like knowing that when someone leaves my place, they leave full. That's when I first saw him. A man, maybe in his 50s, walking slowly down the road. His clothes were torn. His shoes had holes. He carried a worn canvas bag over his shoulder and kept his head down like he was trying not to be seen. He walked past my restaurant without looking up. I watched him through the window. Something about the way he moved made me sad. The next day, he passed again. Same time, same slow walk, same defeated posture. On the third day, I stepped outside. "Excuse me." He stopped but didn't look at me. "You hungry?" He hesitated, then nodded once. "Come inside. I'll get you something." He followed me in, sitting at the corner table farthest from the door. I made him a plate. Rice, chicken, vegetables. Nothing much, just food. I set it in front of him. He stared at it for a long moment before he started eating. He didn't say thank you, didn't make eye contact, just ate slowly like he hadn't had a real meal in days. When he finished, he stood, nodded once, and left. I didn't think much of it. The next week, he came back. This time, he didn't wait outside. He just walked in and sat at the same table. I made him another plate. We didn't talk. He ate. He left. That became the routine. 3 times a week, he'd show up, I'd feed him, and he'd leave without a word. I never asked his name. Never asked where he came from or where he was going. I just fed him. Then my family found out. My sister Tasha came by one afternoon and saw him sitting in the corner. She walked straight up to me, arms crossed. "Who is that?" "Just someone passing through. He looks homeless." "He is. And you're feeding him?" "Yes." "Emma, are you serious? What's the problem?" "The problem is you're running a business, not a charity. He's not hurting anyone. He's hurting your reputation." "How?" She gestured toward the window. "People see this. They think you're desperate. They think you'll serve anyone." I looked at her. "I will serve anyone." "That's the point." She shook her head and left. But she told my parents. That night, my father showed up. "Emma, we need to talk." I was closing up. "About what?" "About the man you've been feeding." "What about him?" "You need to stop." "Why?" "Because it makes us look bad." "Makes you look bad, or makes you feel uncomfortable?" "Both." He sat down, rubbing his temples. "People talk, Emma. They see you giving free food to some beggar and they start asking questions." "What kind of questions?" "About whether you're stable, whether you're making good decisions, whether this restaurant is even worth supporting." I felt my chest tighten. So you want me to turn him away because of what people might think? I want you to use common sense. This isn't about kindness, it's about respect for yourself and for this family. I didn't respond. He left, but the pressure didn't stop. My mother came by the next week. Your father told me what's going on. I'm handling it. By feeding a stranger? He's hungry, Mom. So are a lot of people. That doesn't mean you're responsible for all of them. I'm not trying to be responsible for everyone, just him. She looked at me like I'd said something incomprehensible. You're too soft, Emma. You always have been. One day that's going to cost you. Maybe, but not today. She left, shaking her head. My sister came back a few days later with a different approach. Emma, listen. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to protect you. From what? From yourself. You're running a business in a small town. Reputation matters. If people think you're reckless or naive, they'll stop coming. Then they'll stop coming. But I'm not turning him away. She stared at me. You're being stupid. Maybe. But I'd rather be stupid and kind than smart and cruel. She left, and I kept feeding him. Despite everything my family said, I didn't stop. The man kept coming, 3 times a week like clockwork. I started recognizing the days he'd show up. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, around 2 in the afternoon. I'd see him walking down the road, and I'd start preparing his plate before he even reached the door. He never asked for anything, never expected it. But I gave it anyway. One day he finally spoke. Thank you. I looked up, surprised. You're welcome. You don't have to keep doing this. I know. Then why? Because you're hungry, and I have food. He studied me for a moment. Most people don't see me. I see you. He nodded slowly, then went back to eating. After that, he started talking a little more. Not much, just small comments about the weather, about the road, about how good the food was. I learned his name was Milo. I didn't ask for a last name, didn't ask where he slept or how he ended up on the streets. It didn't feel like my place to ask. But I noticed things, like how his hands shook sometimes, how he walked with a limp, how his eyes looked tired, like he'd seen too much. One Wednesday, he didn't come. I waited, watched the road, checked the clock. He never showed. I told myself maybe he was sick, or maybe he'd found somewhere else to go. He came the next Monday. I felt relieved. You okay? I wasn't sure if you were coming back. He sat down slowly. I'm still here. Good. I made his plate and set it in front of him. He looked at me. Why do you care? I don't know. I just do. He nodded, ate quietly, and left. My family didn't let up. My father stopped by again. Emma, this has gone on long enough. I'm not stopping, Dad. You're embarrassing us. I'm feeding someone. That's all. That's not all. You're making a statement that we're soft, that we don't have standards. He's a person, Dad, not a statement. My father stood. You're being naive, and one day you're going to regret it. Maybe, but I don't regret it now. He left. My sister tried one last time. She came in while Milo was eating. She didn't say anything to him, just looked at me. This is pathetic, Emma. What is? You. Sitting here feeding some random man because you need to feel important. I don't need to feel important. Then why are you doing this? Because it's the right thing to do. She laughed. The right thing? Sure. Keep telling yourself that. She walked out, and I kept feeding him. Then one day, Milo stopped coming. The first week, I thought maybe he was sick again. By the second week, I started to worry. By the third week, I accepted that he might not come back. I didn't know what happened to him, whether he'd moved on, whether something bad had happened, whether he was okay. I kept working, kept cooking, kept serving. But I thought about him. One day, a regular customer asked me about him. Hey, Emma, where's that guy you used to feed? I don't know. He stopped coming. You think he's all right? I hope so. The customer nodded. That was nice. What you did? I shrugged. It was just food. Still, not everyone would have done it. I didn't know what to say to that, so I just smiled and went back to work. My family seemed relieved. My mother mentioned it in passing. I noticed your friend hasn't been around. He wasn't my friend, just someone I helped. Well, it's probably for the best. Why? Because now you can focus on your actual customers. He was an actual customer, Mom. No, Emma. He was charity. There's a difference. I didn't argue. A month passed, then 2, then 3. I stopped looking for him on the road, stopped expecting him on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Life went back to normal. But I never forgot him. 4 months after he disappeared, I was closing up one evening when I heard a car pull up outside. I looked out the window. A black SUV, then another, then another. 7 in total. They parked in a line in front of my restaurant. I stood frozen, confused. The doors opened. Men in suits stepped out, and then from the center vehicle, a man emerged, clean-shaven, well-dressed, confident. He looked familiar, but I couldn't place him until he smiled, and I saw his eyes. Milo. If you're genuinely enjoying this story, please like and subscribe now. I stepped outside, my heart pounding. Milo walked toward me slowly, hands in his pockets, that same quiet presence but completely transformed. Emma. I couldn't speak. It's me. I know, I don't understand. He gestured to the vehicles. I know this looks strange. Strange doesn't even begin to cover it. Can we talk? I nodded, still trying to process what I was seeing. We stepped inside. His security stayed outside. He sat at the same corner table he always sat at. I sat across from him. Who are you? My full name is Milo Brennan. I'm an investor. I own a private equity firm based in New York. My mouth went dry. You're rich? Yes. Then why were you... I needed to know. Know what? If kindness still exists. He leaned forward. 3 years ago, I lost everything that mattered. My wife died. My daughter stopped speaking to me. I built an empire, but I realized I didn't know who I'd become. So I left. I walked away from the company, the money, the life. I wanted to see the world the way people do when they have nothing, when no one knows your name. And most people ignored me. Some were cruel. A few were kind, but only when it cost them nothing. He paused. Then I met you. You fed me. Not once, not twice, but every week for 3 months. You didn't ask for anything. You didn't expect recognition. You just gave, even when your family told you to stop. I looked down. I didn't do it for recognition. I know. That's why I'm here. Milo reached into his jacket and pulled out a folder. I've been watching your restaurant, Emma. Not just while I was here, but after I left. I've seen how hard you work, how much care you put into this place, how much potential it has. I don't understand. I want to help you expand. Expand? He opened the folder and slid it across the table. Inside were blueprints, plans for a larger restaurant, a full dining room, a professional kitchen, outdoor seating. I stared at the papers. What is this? Your new restaurant. I looked up. I can't afford this. You don't have to. I'm funding it. All of it. Why? Because you gave me something I couldn't buy. You reminded me that people can still be decent, that kindness isn't dead, and I want to make sure you're rewarded for that. I felt tears sting my eyes. Milo, I don't know what to say. Say yes. I looked at the plans, then at him. This is too much. It's not. You deserve this. I shook my head, overwhelmed. I just gave you food. You gave me more than food. You gave me dignity. You saw me when everyone else looked away. You treated me like I mattered when I had nothing. That's rare, and it's worth everything. I wiped my face. What do you want in return? Nothing. Just keep being who you are. He stood. I'll have my team handle everything. Construction starts next month. You'll be open by spring. I stood too, still trying to process. Thank you. He smiled. No, Emma. Thank you. He walked toward the door, then stopped. One more thing. What? Don't let your family tell you kindness is weakness. It's the strongest thing you have. He left, and I stood there, holding the folder, unable to believe what had just happened. 6 months later, the new restaurant opened. It was beautiful. Everything I dreamed of but never thought I could afford. Milo kept his word. He funded everything, the building, the equipment, the staff. He even helped with marketing. On opening night, the place was packed. My family came. All of them. They didn't say much at first, just looked around, taking it all in. My sister finally spoke. This is incredible, Emma. Thank you. I heard Milo Brennan funded this. Is that true? Yes. She looked at me. The beggar? He was never a beggar. He was testing me. And I passed. My father approached. I'm proud of you. I didn't respond. My mother touched my arm. We were wrong, Emma. We should have supported you. I looked at her. You told me I was naive, that kindness would cost me. She nodded. I was wrong. Kindness didn't cost you anything. It gave you everything. I didn't gloat, didn't throw their words back at them. I just nodded. The restaurant became a success. People came from all over, not just for the food, but for the story of the woman who fed a stranger and was rewarded for it. Milo came by a few times, never made a big deal of it, just sat in the corner, ordered a meal, and smiled. One day he told me something I'll never forget. You didn't just feed me, Emma. You reminded me why I built everything in the first place. Not to have power, but to make sure people like you don't go unnoticed. Before you go, subscribe if this story reminded you that kindness is never wasted. Drop a comment and tell me if you'd have done the same thing Emma did, or if you think she was taking too big a risk. And if you're not subscribing yet, let me know why. I actually want to hear from you.